Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Quebec right now is looking at a debate on pledging allegiance to the King of England. There's also a basic principle that's being discussed, which is the monarchy. And we're told that this isn't a priority. What's a priority for this government is probably to contest Quebec's secularism law. This government's priority is probably to also contest their strengthening of the French language charter. But this raises a fundamental question, and I'd like to hear a clear answer from across the way when they're done chatting amongst themselves. Who is the head of state of Canada? The Honourable Justice Minister. Mr. Speaker, the Pledge of Allegiance is part of our Constitution, and it has been in our parliamentary system for a long time. Mr. Speaker, it is a pledge towards our institutions and our democracy, and the sovereign is part of that. But, Mr. Speaker, Canadian courts have made clear that this is not a pledge to the person, in this case Charles III, but rather to the state that they represent. The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. An oath to the King of England, who is named, is apparently a model of a democratic institution. I don't think so. This is a country where they can't tell us who is the head of state. That's just perplexing, and yet they seem to think that this is normal. The democratically elected Prime Minister is encouraging an oath to a king, a foreign monarch. Explain that one to me. The Honourable Minister of Canadian Heritage. Mr. Speaker, everyone has their own priorities. On the government side, we are worried about the increases in the cost of living. We're worried about access to good housing for Quebecers, access to daycare for our kids in Quebec, Mr. Speaker, help for housing. We are there for our young people, for our workers, and for our families, Mr. Speaker. I do not understand the priorities of the Bloc Québécois. The members of the Bloc, Mr. Speaker, at the beginning, they were here for their passion, but now we realize that they're here for their pensions. Mr. Speaker, the minister gives a pension to the Governor General, and I'm not aware of any member of the Bloc Québécois who would renounce their pension the day after independence is declared for Quebec. So maybe the minister could step down, and I will remind him that he swore an oath to the British Crown. So who is the minister loyal to? To Canadians or to Charles III? The Honourable Minister of Canadian Heritage. Now, Mr. Speaker, as a member from Quebec, as a proud Quebecer, like all my Quebec colleagues, I am here to work for the well-being of Quebecers. And that's why I'm here on this side of the House, because we're focused on increased cost of living, on help for daycares, on help for housing, on health care. Mr. Speaker, that's our priority. If the Bloc wants to debate this, well, fine. But as long as we are here on this side, we're going to be fighting for the real priorities of all Quebecers.